As I look at this Excel sheet, I can see the time spent daily. It has mostly decimals and few whole numbers, which is a little weird, and I feel like they should be consistent with decimals across the entire row. And then the second thing that I see is the day column that was formatted pretty inconsistent across all rows. For example, this day column, it has the day and the time, and then once you scroll down at the bottom, the date. At the bottom, it doesn't have the day and time, it just has the date. And there are also a few missing values on the day column and on the time span column. And another thing I find it weird is that the user ID wasn't formatted that great, mainly because you could have duplication of data with other columns with the user ID. And everything was entered like randomly. There's no pattern with no validation set place. And then there's a few underscores for the time zones. There's few underscores, and most of them are slashes. And the username should be a primary key because I don't see any duplicates in the user ID or username, excuse me. But the user ID cannot be a primary key because it could duplicate with the other, like the post count and the profile view. And my calculative field is the type of users. I just broke it down into 3 categories, where if they had 30 or less message count, I would consider them as a neutral. If they had 60 or less message, I would consider them as friendly. And then if they had 100 plus or 100 or less message count, I would consider them high engagement. And then let's look at the graph I made. I just basically graphed the 3 categories. As you could tell, the high engagement, it's almost double the amount of friendly, and then almost triple the neutral message count. Then lastly, I created a summary of the table, of a pivot table, and I was able to find out that the high engagement had the least profile view and friend count and most messages. And then the friendly had the most profile views, time spent, and the least amount of posts. And then the neutrals have more friends and more notifications and the least time spent and the most posts. And which bring in my uh, questions that I have. Does higher engagement correlate to more views? What tools I might need, which is the sum of the profile view and the sum of friends count, and then you need to compare the ratios of them. Then which groups generate the most notifications per post? I have to take the sum of the notification and divide it by the sum of the post count. And then is time spent proportional to all of the listing provided? You will need all 5 of the metrics, and then you have to normalize each by time spent and compare all of them.